Is it anybody out there? Be some words from my subconscious. Yeah. Mortalized. I'm so bionic in my subconscious. I be spitting, I never run out of options. Wisdom and logic, predicted it like a Nostradamus. I meditate in silence, so much inventory in here. Anything you need, you can find it. Flashbacks of hard times, horror movies in my mind. Roll up the herb cause it helps me unwind. Look around here, ain't no telling what you might find. Old crimes that can't even escape my mind. Traveled the world, took so many notes, wrote many quotes. All I seem to have is time, but tell me where it goes. Euphoria, paranoia from way before. Operate this computer with ancestors' codes. These be some words from my subconscious. Is it anybody out there? What words from my subconscious? Is it anybody out there? Is it anybody out there? What words from my subconscious? Is it anybody?
The right diet, or if we, haven't really put too much effort into our physical health, right? And we look at it like, what does it mean to be healthy? I think we all kind of know how it is to be healthy. Just the question of how much effort do we actually consciously put into our health?
Really large leaps and like almost near impossible. So that's when I started introducing to myself smaller steps, like just really being present and being like, okay, now what can I do today in any type of way to start feeding towards that goal? Whether it's gathering resources, whether it's reaching out to the people I need to reach out to, whether it's doing an energy clearing on myself.
Stay in your body a long time, cause a film on that cell wall and start to cause inflammation. And there's a lot of toxins that actually have an affinity to attach on to the fat membrane and cause more inflammation. And then you can have refined foods like refined white sugar and white flour, very inflammatory to the cells. So
Grand day, everybody. Welcome to another edition, the third episode of the Friday Expedition. I am Marcus Crystalite, and my co-host, Magic Yana, out of Germany. I'm out of Ohio in the United States. And today, on this episode, we are going to be exploring and diving into the topic of the inner child and inner child healing, and a little bit about the chakras in relation with the inner child as well. How are you over there, brother?
I'm looking forward to that one. And yeah, I'm grateful right now for existence. And the inner child was topic today, actually. I haven't put too much thought into it last week. You just had your retreat, inner child retreat, which gives you a few talking points for sure for us today to hear and learn from. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. I have a good day. I feel very blessed. And looking forward to what we're talking about.
Glad you feel that way today, brother, man. And, I'm feeling that way as well. I'm feeling very, very blessed and abundant with just the opportunities and blessings of life. And, my dad's back home So things are kind of more consistent, more stable. Just had that retreat last weekend. And then I have some events already planned for the next coming months. A few retreats as well, including a New Year's retreat. And the train's just rolling, man. It feels really good. It feels good to continue to put the work in and really stay disciplined in the focuses of what truly matters and means the most to my path and my journey. And that is like family, unconditional love, community, and service for all. Those type of things, just really honing in and continuing to put my momentum and focus into that. And it's taken a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of ups and downs and challenges, especially with attachments and other imbalanced energies that we can develop. But man, when you really clear those attachments and you start to really kind of graduate from those feelings of need, you really tap into this really deep core power of unconditional love, of the source and the higher power, of that feeling of like, yes, I am an individual self, but I am so intertwined and connected with all that is and the supreme creator that is all. And any choice I make, I have mercy and grace and alternative timelines to be able to choose. Even if I go through the biggest shadow of my life, or dig the deepest ditch of debt or anything else you can think of, there's still actions, there's still moments, choices, free will to be able to shift out of that into a different vibration. And that is just so beautiful for each and every one of us. As much as I talk about it for me in my life, this also is for all of us. We all have this infinite free will power, and I'm grateful. So I have a little bit to read about the inner child and what inner child healing looks like for us in a holistic standpoint. And this is actually what I read during my workshop on Saturday. And it was really beautiful. There's about 15-20 people, and we were all gathered around, and I was reading it off the microphone, and I was giving people space to be able to journal as well as reflect and share out loud with each other. And it was just so beautiful seeing community, everybody sharing with each other, everybody also giving like feedback, genuine heart-to-heart connection of their perspective and how they think they could help them, and just giving them like innocent perspective of like, you can also see things this way, and give them a more conscious view about it too. It was really beautiful to see. All right, so we have, what is inner child wounding? So even when you become an adult, your inner child is always with you in some way and is an important source of creativity and excitement. However, if your inner child has been wounded by past trauma, abuse, or neglect, you may still feel the effects even in adulthood. We will explore the different types of inner child wounds, their causes, and their common ways they manifest themselves in adults. Inner child wounds are often the result of childhood trauma, abuse, or neglect, and can affect how an adult perceives themselves and behaves in relationships. So when a child doesn't feel safe, loved, or recognized as they grow up, they sustain wounds that can stay with them all the way through adulthood. Such wounds and past trauma can greatly affect how an adult views the world, themselves, and their relationships. However, in many cases, a person may often try to repress and ignore these wounds. The concept of inner child was proposed by a psychologist, and I'm sure a lot of you guys know this name, Carl Jung. Carl Jung created as an archetype that symbolizes the common vulnerability that connects us as humans. When a person's inner child is healthy, it's a source of childlike creativity, excitement, and inspiration. So then real quick, I'll just also go over a couple of different manifested wounding styles and what it can look like in our human life. So you have physical and sexual wounds. And these are wounds that may also be called safety wounds, since the individual's sense of safety and security was damaged during their childhood due to such abuse. Neglect wounds. Neglect wounds may also be called prioritization wounds. The child and their needs weren't treated as a priority, and such wounds carried over into their adult life. We have emotional wounds. Emotional wounds are known as worthiness wounds. A person with such wounding likely feels like they're not deserving of other people's attention or love due to the treatment that they received as a child. And then we have guilt wounds. Unfortunately, children who suffer abuse may develop feelings of guilt as they grow up and tell themselves that they're at fault for what happened to them. These guilty feelings can then stick with them all throughout their adult life, unless properly addressed. It might also be that their caregivers blame them for their own mistakes or unfortunate circumstances that no one could actually control. And then some manifestations through our emotions and mental states can be low self-worth, escaping through addiction, loss of identity, attachment issues, deep resentment, struggle with relationships, lack of boundaries, denial of help, fear of intimacy or being seen, becoming a workaholic, unhealthy communication, and repeated toxic patterns from family members. And then I'll give you guys a few ways to practice some healing for these. And we got holistic and energy healing practices, journaling with meditation and breath work, writing a letter to your inner child, creative and playtime, and then conscious community connection. So I just wanted to share that to give you guys some background and psychological standpoint knowledge about the inner child and what inner child healing is like.
Yes, so we have all experienced certain events in our lives that caused us to behave differently. And, sometimes grown men, we would say, act like little boys because they still have not yet overcome that, which happened, whatever that is, right? So when we feel as children that we cannot speak or what we feel, like if we just cannot put it out, talk with our parents about it or whatever, we start making up stories for ourselves. And some things are assumptions that we maybe believe to be true because of the way that we perceived it. But we all have to learn through the experience, and we have to see that the experience itself is for us to observe, and from the observant point then see what really happened and how that helped me grow. Because as a child, maybe I have been just start going to school third, fourth grade or so, like you do not talk with your parents about everything. And, or with your teachers, your friends, and like you're just observing, and sometimes you like just like putting it all in and don't know where to go with it, right? Because you're sitting on a chair, as an example, all day, have some breaks in between. You're not, maybe not creative enough, or have too much creative time. Like we did not had that. I think that was the right English. However, like we gotta learn to be more creative and joyful, as children usually are, in order for us to experience our inner child. And every moment in your childhood, potentially, that you experienced and felt that you haven't been heard or understood, or you didn't know how to express yourself or whatever, because of what you've seen, what might be hurtful to you, like you're vulnerable, it really hits you on your vulnerable spot, like it's okay. And it's okay. And now we move on while it's okay, and see what we can do now from this point. Over to you.
Over to me, flicking it to me so I can be in the stream of the waves, giving the ether something to think about just for today.
Right.
That's how you let the inner child out right there a little bit. And another way that you can let the inner child out a little bit, or I guess I should say is heal that inner child, is through sacral chakra work, which is the main chakra of the inner child. And carrot juice is a wonderful orange octave correlating to the sacral and creative energy to be able to consume, help heal the sacral chakra as well. So I'd like to explore a little bit with everybody what the sacral chakra is. And this will give us a little perspective from a metaphysical or fourth dimensional light body perspective of where our inner child energy comes from. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, I got the sacral for you guys. I'm gonna pull this up on the screen. So the sacral chakra is, you can call it the second, or you can call it the sixth, depending on if you want to go up to down or down to up. But it is the one that is one up from the bottom or the base, the red root chakra. And just like any of the 7 chakras, it has a mantra. That mantra is basically a vocalization or a verbal transmission of a octave that resonates with what we call the sacral chakra. And it also resonates with a certain hertz frequency, which is 417 hertz. It also resonates with the color orange. So if anybody that is here tapped in this moment would like to participate in doing an example of the mantra, feel free to join me. And all you have to do is just take a deep breath, breathe in through the nose, and then on your exhalation, You're just going to open your mouth and then allow yourself to push out of your throat. Vam. V-A-M. Vam. So go ahead and take a deep breath again. So you just kind of repeat that, and then if you can find like a fluid flow where you don't really stop, it's kind of like it's like a peak, then drop, peak, and then drop, peak, and then drop.
Like a wave.
Yeah, create like a waveform with it. Then
I
you can
felt
really, you can really reattune and vibrate that sacral into balance. So then what you can do is you can also add consciously frequencies in the background. So you can play 417 hertz or sacral singing bowl while you're doing the mantras. And this all helps recalibrate and attune that octave of your being. So then as we continue on, I'll go over some traits of how the sacral connects us mentally, emotionally into our human life. And that is with our sexual life force energy. So this is where we first begin to feel and be able to experience the senses and the feeling and the connection of our energy and motion, our emotions. So the sacral is our emotional center. The root chakra is I am. So it is where you first are aware that you are a being, that you have a foundation. And then your sacral is where you start to first feel that you have a connection through your emotions to the world. So then with that, this is also known as your vital life force energy, as well as your kundalini. And this sexual life force energy is also your creative energy. It is how we cultivate and harness the energy to co-create and manifest into the world. So then it is our pleasure center. It connects us with our five senses, our ability to connect. And then inner child. So it is the center where we're able to tap into that inner child joy, that inner child innocent energy, as well as our natural feminine energy, which is our ability to surrender, our ability to be creative, our ability to receive and be able to receive love. And then lastly, it is our main center for relationships, due to it being our first center of relation to the world. So with that being said, if you have any blockages, traumas, or imbalanced effects in any of those areas of your life, you could do focused sacral chakra work, and this will automatically help all of these aspects due to it being the center connection point for all these aspects. It's like going to the root instead of trying to dig from the outside. So then go into overactive and blockages. So you can be overactive and you can be underactive or blocked in a chakra because it's about balance. So if you're overactive, this is where you can kind of say that we are leaking energy, or we're also unconsciously on autopilot with this energy center. And this can be a leaking of sexual energy or being predatory-like with your sexual energy. It can be overly affectionate to unhealthy outlets. So that's like being overtly affectionate to people that abuse you, that do not give back any love to you, that continue to use you, things of that nature. And then lastly, extreme immaturity. Then blocks in the chakra, sexual trauma, emotional wounds, having no passion, creative blocks, being afraid of intimacy, struggling to have fun, and then lastly, fear of being seen. So those are all symptoms of having overactivations and blocks in your sacral chakra. And then some foods and herbs, because there are foods and herbs that you can utilize for each of the 7 chakras. A lot of times it has to do with the color. We have oranges, mango, peach, sweet potato. We got carrot, got the good old carrot juice right here. Apricots, flax, walnut, almond, sesame, coconut, and cinnamon. So that's the sacral chakra. And that is the center that directly connects you with your inner child energy when you continue to grow and become an adult. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, give you a little bit of holistic approach to how you can take multiple perspectives of your inner child and go through your inner child healing approach.
How was the experience like being with so many people doing inner child work? Like, tell us about a change that happened, like a before and after, so we can kind of feel a little into it.
For sure. I can definitely share. I mean, I can also share some clips and highlights with you too if you wanted to see. But yeah, it was really beautiful.
If you wanted to
people
show.
showed up. What's that?
If you wanted to show, I wanted to see.
Okay. Let me see what I can pull up.
Awesome.
But it was really good. People showed up, and when
It's
they got there,
when you come together, man. It's powerful when
they
you
were
come
kind of,
together.
yeah, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
And what I really love seeing is, the difference in their being from the moment that I meet them and the moment that they arrive, and then how they progress throughout, and then what they're like afterwards. It's one of the most beautiful things to watch.
Progress.
All right.
You
Well, I
just
got-
explain progress.
Yeah, man. And I got nothing but good feedback, like just nothing but good feedback. Everybody had a really good experience. Everything was fluid. There wasn't any misunderstandings or kinks or anything like that.
Yes.
All right, here we go. So, yeah, for everybody out there, if you don't know yet, on Saturday of last week, I hosted a inner child sanctuary holistic retreat. It was just a one-day event, and I made plant-based lunch and dinner for everybody that I homemade myself. It's like mashed potatoes, salad, chickpea pasta salad, and then I made chili. Did an inner child healing workshop, some journaling, as well as a meditation. And then we did some fire spinning and flow arts at night, live painting, and breath work. There was hermetics workshop. It was beautiful. It was a really, really connective and bonding event, that's for sure. So here you go. For everybody out there. Oh man, not the messages. All right, here we go. common ways they manifest themselves in adults. Inner child wounds are often the cause of childhood trauma, abuse, or neglect, and can affect how an adult perceives.
This would be a concept of using principles, because that's what these are good for. These are not a way of life. These aren't telling you what to do. These are available tools that you have with you in metaspace and within your own flesh and existence. They're tools. Okay? I am a firm believer that you've also heard without getting uncomfortable, there is no growth. You've also heard without trauma, there is probably not much growth. The difference is we tend to absorb trauma and uncomfortability instead of taking it and alchemizing it. And that would be making a change, or done through activity, or done through, a kind gesture, like sitting down a problem with someone.
The students of Hermes believe and taught that before material transmutation, thou shalt first learn the true hermetic art of history.
Someone read the definition of mental transmutation, please.
The ability to take emotions, thoughts, attitudes, ideas, pathways, participate in analysis.
Now that alkaline.
Not as much anymore. I can strike it.
Okay. You feel the tickle? You can probably already feel it, right? So you feel the tickle, you feel the sensation, just stay with your focus. You don't break your focus. That's what creates right? So stay with your focus. I'll be on my hand, but I'll keep you in mind. So you'll do
Sun setting, it's got a different feel and look to me. Feeling better about this version of the
Clarence with a live painting. Yeah, man, it was. Ooh, ooh, man, it was so much fun. Well balanced energy.
Well, good, yeah. You know, balancing is for everyone different too. You know, their
Hmm.
own balance, like how am I when I am in a balanced state as an individual. So presence is very important, and attention, where we pay attention to what and what our intention is. You know, when people come together and do it together, this is magic, and everyone feels it because we are all longing for connection. We all like it to be in groups and to feel safe and heard and seen, you know. And as the same too, you know, when you meet each other on one level, you meet the one that is the same in everyone. And it's a frequency, it's a vibe, it's a feeling that you have. And yeah, I wish for a world like that.
I wish for a world like that.
It's their song, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. You know, for the children, you know,
Hmm.
we gotta support them. We gotta create systems that are supportive for our children and stop supporting systems that are giving us pills, selling us pills, and want to swallow them without giving us any reason for the root cause of anything. So, yeah, we gotta have a good discernment about our health and, you know, find back to nature. And there we have all answers of young and of old. Yeah.
You know, that is a great talking point, especially with the inner child.
There is a lot of heat in this point of talking. Collective heat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a really good thing to relate to the inner child because and right now there's a really big movement happening in the United States over here with people really vocalizing, speaking up, and sharing facts about artificials, pesticides, and dyes that are being put in mainstream food industries and the effect that it's having psychologically, emotionally, and physically on the children. This is a huge talking point right now in this country, especially with Robert Kennedy Jr., who is right now looking to potentially become a part of the presidential cabinet if Trump is to win over here. And he's been really using his platform to speak out against and about the facts of what is causing cancer, disease, and other issues for all of us, and especially the children. And one of the topics that he was also talking about on TV, on the news, was also the food at schools, school food the heavily processed food that they're getting and the heavily processed food that they're shoving down the throats
And
of
asking
those
them
in
to
poverty.
concentrate. And asking them to
Yeah,
concentrate
exactly.
and think clearly. Yeah.
Yep. And then feeding them tons of sugar, artificial dyes, and other toxic and poisonous things that send the
Yeah.
nervous system into shock.
You know,
So
we all have eaten it.
exactly, and like it definitely has an effect on our inner child because man,
Well, can I?
absolutely.
What is a child meant to think growing up, and all the adults out here, all the adults out here, they're lying to themselves, or they're not talking about it. They know it's unhealthy, but they still give it to us. Like, this we have to see, like, children, and parents. What's the relationship? How much do we talk about things? Because I was asking myself, like, or telling myself, well, if they give me this, it must be fine. I mean, they're my caretakers, Then I came to a point, well, what? This is poisonous, causes cancer, overall not supporting me at all, like, physically. It's just like holding me back, getting all my emotions wild and uncontrollable, or having too many highs and lows and being all over the place, maybe even have ADHD. I bet, because I was one of those kids, I bet more people and children ask themselves, well, if this is poisonous, why are you giving it to me? So this trust that there is, like, there's a point there where we meet, where we have to be totally honest with each other and just go on with it. Like, we even stop the talking about it if we just go on with it and meet us at this point where we all just feel it, whatever is, and then move on and make progress in time, with what we have.
Mm-hmm. Well said. And I'd like to touch on the aspect of also being able to tread the line of knowing how to not hold on to these things, or to hold on to our past experiences as limitations or identification of ourselves in the present now. So the reason why I bring this up is because if we can go and explore our past and go into the past times, we can often tend to stay there. And then when we stay there, we continue to bring that energy into the present. And then on top of that, we can kind of start to kind of distort ourselves from being in the present. So just know that, yes, you may go through certain things through the childhood times. Yes, you may have consumed a lot of different toxic foods and drinks. But with all of that being said, you're still here today in this now moment with this capable multidimensional human being, to be able to reattune and holistically adjust your being. And there are many, many different strategies, whether it's practices or utilizing different somatic and movement, as well as therapies that you can use. And one thing I really just want to kind of support is, please do not be afraid to ask for help. If you're struggling with your memories, if you're struggling with your attachments to childhood experiences, and this can be surrounding, family life, it can be school, work environment, sports, anything you can think of that may have caused damage to your being. Just know you don't have to hold on to it and carry it alone your whole life. And you don't have to tell yourself that you're gonna carry it and that you're always gonna be affected by it your whole life. There are wonderful, wonderful fellows out there, kings and queens of service that will help you as long as you ask and open yourself up to healing, including myself, our brother here, many others that you've seen in my spaces. And just a really passionate and deep topic for me, because I really feel the karmic and collective weight in my heart of the pain in different layers and different ways.
Feel that. Yep, man. Healing. Yeah.
What are some ways that you like to express and allow your inner child to play as an adult?
Yeah, man. Being very spontaneous. As you asked me this question, I was in like a deep meditation, and now I have to start flowing and just making it up as I go. This is what children are doing as well, actually. They do not really think about what they're doing and what they're saying next, but they're in a flow state. And this is where we have to come in. This is where we let all go and we trust and just move into the direction that we feel we have to move towards. What's next? Ask yourself, this is it. Ask yourself what's next. The only question that you have to ask yourself every day is, what's the next best thing I can possibly do? Or what's the next best step that I can possibly take? And you're on it. Like, it's as simple as that. You can even lay a hand on your chest so you're sure it comes from your heart. If you're sure it comes from your heart, you will know that it's already yours and it's true. So, yeah, it's as simple as that. Ask yourself the question, what's the next best step that I can possibly take? Several times a day. How simple that is. If you really want to live an exciting life and like always move towards the next excitement and overcome challenges and this easier and easier, like you really start feeling more and more of your unlimited potential, and to just like explore more of that is the inner child, because the inner child is growing. It's growing, it's obviously growing. It feels it grows. When you get older, like, why do you stop feeling that you grow? We all grow constantly. No matter if we're a child or an adult, we're always growing. And this is the inner child that is curious and explorative and creative and has fun. So just because we are adults, we are not having sex anymore, or stop playing, or or think about who I want, like think about sex more like we do as a children, as an example, because I don't believe everyone is growing up nasty or like not like naughty or whatever. No, we all love touch. We all love sensual feelings. This is our nature. This is beautiful. But we gotta learn to use our creative energy in ways that are helping our creation. As simple as that. We have to use our creative energy, which is also sexual energy, to further our expansion and growth. And so we can see that we're growing. A child again sees that it's growing. So like for a child, obviously, wow, more. I unlock new features, right? Every single day. Mostly, like they grow. And you can too, no matter how old you are, because your inner child is like that. So all you have to do is believe in it and let go of all the bullshit that says no, because it's bullshit. And who you are is an eternal being that has infinite power and potential if you allow it to be so. Like you find your place in all of that if you allow yourself to explore that. And no borders, this is what I can say. Especially no hard borders, no more walls in my entire field, right? Children have no fear. They have no fear. So why do we start with that? No need for it. We can skip that part. Or we can see it and we can transmute it. If it helps us evolve and we created it for that reason. God knows. So, Christo, what's on your side? I know I was going on a little.
What's on my side is the divine, and we're on a ride of a journey.
And like
me raising Kundalini up the spine. I know, they like to lie, but I realize that lies are just shadows of all that is to be. And you see, everything is destiny because we choose in the moment.
That's the inner child, yeah. Oh man, thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So
stretching is always good, man. Like I'm going.
I wanted to remind us all also of not being afraid to enjoy the things that you liked when you were younger. If you liked video games and video games is something that you wanted to kind of pick up on again and play, man, play some video games when you have some downtime. If you want to paint when you have some downtime. if there's an anime or a 90s cartoon that you want to kick back and watch again, eat some snacks and be a child, do it, man. I'm telling you, that stuff really helps you feel young and really helps, well, specifically me, because I can really only speak for me. It also really helps me just feel like I don't have to be so attached, be so serious. I can just be feminine, creative, expansive, and just be surrendered and enjoy creativity. And I think that's something that kind of, as we grow older, some of us may forget, like, you know, TV, cartoons, shows, video games, all these different things. I don't know why we started labeling it and defining them so harshly as we get older. Like, what happened to seeing it all as just like creative, expansive fun and expression? Like, that's the way I see it. And for me, it helps me feel abundant in this world to know that there really is no right or wrong to any of these things that we do. And if it ain't really harming anybody, then enjoy it, you know? You want to play a little bit of racing, play a little bit of racing. You want to play a little bit of Star Wars, play a little bit of Star Wars. You ain't gonna hurt nobody, but uplift your inner child a little bit. Fun. So
Yes.
with that being said, if anybody wants to play me in some video games, let's go. Reach out. I'll face you one-on-one, some Mortal Kombat or something, Street Fighter. Oh man.
Yeah. The reality we live in, right? Projected in a smaller one or in a different one, another version of it. Yeah.
I remember there was a quote, and it was about Shakespeare. And it was a quote about how Shakespeare created all these different characters. But all these different characters were actually expressions and representations of him and different archetypes of himself. And wow, when you really put it that way.
Yeah, I felt that one. You know, it
Makes
just
you really
touches.
think.
Yeah, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. And I saw this today. It's funny that you bring it up, because I usually do not. I haven't had that feeling too much present, right? And not in a conversation one-on-one as we have now. So I haven't talked with anyone about it yet. I've been aware of it. Yeah. You know, there's something of you and me and something of me and you. You know?
Oh. You're gonna talk to me like that live?
I talk to you like that, man. From right here where I sit. Or do you have bad ears? Can't you listen?
I don't even have ears.
Oh. Maybe because you should hear with your entire being, not just with your ears.
There it is.
Thank you, sir. Very round. Cool.
Very round.
Very round. I think children are an important topic. A very important topic, because Man, if we help them be themselves now, what they do for us when in 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, man, like, we're grateful for what we've done. We've been grateful for what we've done, you know, and it's time that we as a generation are like looking like that in the future, right? That we've done something for the children to come. We've been watching over them, you know, with the wisdom that we have as elders. I can feel sweet with 25 to speak those words so freely. You know, like, we gotta come to a place of responsibility and carrying ourselves in integrity, and really looking that what we believe is something that they can do something with, because if not, what have we done this entire lifetime?
Mm-hmm.
There's so much fire in me. Can we talk about this next week? Something around these lines. Really something that needs to get out and talked about. Brought into our awareness as collective. You know? Generational shift, and see us all as one and benefiting from each other, and you know, share our wisdom, young and old. Look at those little fellows. Man, they're brilliant, I tell you. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the way they are. I just had like a young man on my massage table, and like, he's been so cute. Mom was with him in it, you know. And the next days he just saw me again and always smiled and like waved like telepathically. That's it. That's why I'm here for. For those moments when we understand each other. You know, no matter what the difference is in our age or in our language or the country that we live in or the color of our skin. Just funny, you know, it seems as if I'm lately really just going live with black dudes or ladies. You know, if there is a message to read for all of us in this, let's read it and let's do something with it, because you know, if we're here right now, we gotta do something or be on mission. Even if we do nothing, we're doing something, you know. Just be wise with your attention, you know, what you're putting out, like where you focus on, what your intention is. Like, you know, maybe this is your AI, you know, attention, intention, you know, how you use it is crucial. Yeah. So much love to focus on, so much love. So guys, come. Well, let's share that. Open our hearts. Let's be free. Let's activate each other. You know, today. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And you know, something that just kind of came up to me is just like really being conscious and aware of the way that we're speaking to the children. And you know, I see a lot of this weird I can't say the word. Desensitization of, oh, this person's a child, so I get to just kind of speak to them like they're an object and not have compassion for that being. And man, I just really wanted to bring that up because of the type of psychological effect that can have on children. And I just really encourage us to find ways to deep dive into our heart and feel through our center, the words that we're saying, the way that we are saying our words,
Mm.
and think for a moment of, what could this child be thinking about me saying this to them? Like, I'm someone that they trust. I'm someone that they love unconditionally. I'm someone that they look up to. There's a lot of micro steps that we can take to continue to grow and just continue to become a even more unconditional, loving society. And it begins with these micro level steps, really. Begins within ourselves, language, thought patterns, the embodiment that we're exempling. Are we aligning our actions with our words that we're teaching to the children or to our own personal inner child? Or are we kind of neglecting our inner child and not fulfilling what we are giving love and promise to the own inner child?
We gotta look after it. We gotta look after it. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Big deal. When you raise your voice towards the child, you know what you do with it. Like angst, like being fearful. If there would be someone that is taller than you, larger than you, more advanced as you, because like, man, you just entered this planet and tried to come around, like try to understand this crazy place. So you gotta look after this little boy or girl. Like, seriously. You want to be looked after. So do it to others. Do to others what you do unto you, like you do to others what you do unto you. So, you gotta be more kind to yourself and therefore more kind to your children. And if you had a bad, like, shitty childhood because you got abused or something like that, like, we're sorry and we love you, and you're like, there's always a moving forward, and a place where we meet, all of us in this, so there are really things like out there that we don't know. I say out there because of just the way I've seen it right now. Like, we gotta come together. We gotta see how we can harmonize the being within us, so what we see and what we project to the outer world is pure. Oh, purity, what a word. I could immerse myself in it. Do you believe that, Christo? Purity.
Mm-hmm. Purity.
Yeah.
Purity Purity to me is that feeling of unconditional, just flowing through your being.
Mhm.
And that feeling of, see, so I feel like this is a great topic point. So I feel like there's definitely, of course, multiple perspectives out there of what purity is to somebody. But for me,
Mhm.
I feel like a lot relate purity to light, or to like heaven, or super positive. But for me, purity to me is that all that is energy, as in the feeling of wholeness and harmony with light and dark, and just not even having a attached lower opinion, but just really present and flowing as energy and vibration.
Mhm.
Not even needing to think like, oh, I am light, or I am dark, or I am positive, I am negative, but being all of it at once, and just knowing that that is what it is. For me, that's purity. What's purity to you?
Mm. Stillness, pure space. Like, you know, it's like it can't get cleaner. Like, you cannot even clean it. Like, you cannot even clean it. You know, it's so clean. You would make it dirty if you try to clean it.
So fresh and so clean. Outcast. Oh.
Yeah. So love, you know, pure love, like Buddha love, also a term that I came across. I love that. Buddha love. You know, love like Buddha, then you know what purity is. Yeah. It's an experience, and you know it. Like, you know, there's a part of you that is purity, actually. Is the pure you. Like, the original, if you want to say so. So you are a bag of wonders, you can say. You know? Yeah. Purity is what you are to your core, like, and who and what you really are. So you gotta feel that and allow yourself. Don't be overwhelmed. It's a lot of you that suddenly is there. So one step at a time helps, right? But yeah, you know, you're ready whenever you decide to be ready. Enjoy the ride as well, you know, like a child. Be childlike. Allow yourself to play. You know, I had to learn that because for me the world was a weird place when I came here, and I felt like all of the things that other kids did, I had no interest in. I was there, but I was busy doing other things, you know, if you understand what I'm saying there. So I was always in my mind and trying to understand why things happen the way they happen in those questions. And you come across answers if you look, and if you question life and you observe it and learn from it, learn from the things that you experience. Learn from the things that you experience and grow. If you haven't learned about something that you're still complaining about, you gotta move on. You gotta learn that thing that is, and like people like Christo and people like I, and lots of others, they're here to help you if you haven't kind of found that way. You gotta hang out with people who found the way, who kind of have something that you feel like want to have, feel like having. So if you see something in others, like you admire something about someone else, it's you. You have that quality, and you wouldn't see it if you wouldn't have that quality that you see in someone else, because you don't see what you are not. A deep topic that we can go into both directions from. I think we keep it in the middle, non-duality, just existing as one. So whatever you choose to experience, you will experience, and the amount of attention that you put onto something, and like whilst there's like you really, like what do you want to create is the question for you, be wise, learn from your experience, because this is where the wisdom is. If you watch another podcast and one more and this and that, like it's great, but do you still turn the same circles, or do you observe yourself progressing? Because this is very important. You can do all of that if you see yourself growing. If you do not see yourself growing, like maybe take a step back from putting too much outer stimuli into you through podcast, food, whatever it is, something that you consume. If you do that and you're really aware, like you have space, because like you have less stimulus that you put into your being, and then you sit there and you feel, and you're like, oh wow, purity. There it is. Feels awesome. And I had to do nothing. You experience that. It's always when we try to change our situation, it's no trying needed. If you energetically let go and you really intend to let go, doors open for you. Ideas come, new visions, new people, more energy. We must want it. We really, really must want it. You must want it. And yeah.
That's right. We are free will beings. So we have to choose with our free will within us of what it is that we want to obtain or embody. With that being said, I would like to invite us, and if you're open to it, brother, to a short and brief guided inner child meditation that can lead for us to close out here tonight. How do you feel about that?
Sure thing. Amazing. How long do you want to take us on the journey?
Maybe just like 10 minutes or so.
Easy. Let me have a sip of water first.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, if everybody would like to take a break for 1 minute to 2 minutes, we can take a break and then we'll come back. Get yourself comfortable, set up your altar, sage, crystals, grab some water, use the restroom, whatever it is that you may like to do. And we'll be back in a minute to 2 minutes. And I'm going to guide us through a beautiful inner child healing upliftment meditation. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for this inner child guided meditation.
Yippee.
All right. So if everybody wants to get comfortable, feel free to lay down or you can sit. And if you're sitting, bringing focus to the back, making sure that we have our back as straight as we can. And if we have any physical ailments, to the best of our abilities. If we are laying down, having our legs straight and not crossed, so we are not blocking the flow of energy in and out of the soles of our feet. And then next, making our way to the shoulders, making sure that we are relaxing and allowing our shoulders to drop to the side. Checking in with the fingers, making sure we are not balling our fists. And then lastly, making our way to the jaw, making sure that we are not clenching our teeth. Softening the body, softening the mind with our breath, breathing in through the nose, drawing it down the body to the earth, exhaling out of the mouth. Breathing in, healing, to stimulating oxygen, rushing up the nose, bringing life to the being, flowing down the body to the earth, and exhaling out of the mouth. Continuing to breathe and focusing on the breath for the rest of the session. Staying with the breath, continuing to breathe. Sacral chakra balances and recalibrates with every breath, pouring this orange octave of wavelength into our physical being, bringing healing, fullness, and depth to our sacral properties. With every breath, feeling our kundalini, our life force energy beginning to rise and become more full of energy and force. As we breathe, we continue to explore our sacral center. And as we explore the sacral, we make our way through this dimension. As we travel to the sacral center, we make our way, we find ourselves standing at a presence in front of our eyes. In front of our eyes, we are face to face with our childhood self. And as we continue to breathe, breathing in love, and light. We allow ourselves to feel what we feel in this moment, face to face with our inner child. Stay with the breath. What do you feel in this moment? Do you feel love, pain, fear? Do you feel shame, resentment? Or do you feel joy, upliftment, creativity? Staying with the breath, sitting with our authentic self in this moment. Whatever you feel in this moment is your power. There is nothing to be afraid of, and you are safe to own your unique self. Staying with the breath. Receiving what we need to receive from our inner child in this moment. Giving what we are needed to give to the inner child in this moment. And as we do so, coming forward, and just like a mirror, comes forward the inner child. And you wrap your arms around each other and give each other a beautiful, unconditional love, a healing hug. Stay with the breath as we hug our inner child. Secure our inner child with abundance, with prosperity, with joy and optimism. Reminding our inner child that the struggles that it faces becomes our strength, our armor, our foundation for other souls and generations to come. It is worth it. And it's okay to let go of the stories, the victimhood, and the unworthiness. You are a alchemical, divine, unique being of the all that is, experiencing temporary moments. May we take our hands and place them on our heart centers in the center of the chest. And as we breathe, may we feel this circulate through our hearts, so we may pour with unconditional love for ourselves and all that is. And now with the breath, we begin to say our goodbye to our interaction with the inner child. And we begin this newfound sense of feeling of self. We begin to make our way. As we make our way back to our bodies, remembering to protect our energy and to protect ourselves and to protect others like an innocent child. Return to your body and back to your environment when you are ready. Ashe.
Yes, man. Thank you. I felt like a large orange ray of light all in my hip and all around it. Oh wow, it was beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. Cool.
I am honored. That was very, very much just channeled in the moment. Really had no idea what I was going to do.
Love it. Yeah. Meditating together is beautiful. It amplifies so much. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we know what we gotta do, people.
Answer the call. Answer the call.
Hello?
It's ringing. I know you guys hear that ringing in your ear.
All day.
That's the hotline. The angels are like, all right, let's get
Always.
dial. Do-do-do-do-do. Beep, boo. Oh. Message.
You better hear that ringing in your ears. Listen to it closely.
But then they're like, wait a minute, he's not hearing the ringing. He's not hearing the ringing, so he's not getting the message. Okay, let's send this guy to do this to him. Maybe then he'll get the message. The universe. It's a funny playground we're in.
Cool. You know, only the best.
Only the best.
Yeah, big
nothing
magic.
More,
big
nothing
magic.
less.
Yes.
Well, brother, do you have anything else to share?
I'm
for
building
us tonight.
Yes, I'm building. You know, for sure our podcast, like, but heaps meditations, and you know, I do write a lot. I want to, you know, I'm sharing more of my writings, and you know, what I come to understand and share that. You know, I want to, you know, I always like to share things that are very immediate for me, so I can really relate closely to what I share with the people. And you know, just like you, like meditations, right? Like also bringing us deep. Next week, Friday, we are going to meditate together. And yeah, you know, I build up a system that people can subscribe in form of, like, you know, in terms of donation based, or like just supporting me on my journey. And I'm putting lots of free content there, classes, live classes, and live meditations, group calls. Just like really looking that we all do this together, because healing is not what most think it is, and once you find purity, like everything makes sense. If you find that sweet spot in the middle, everything makes sense. And brothers and sisters, on this planet right now, creating ways for us to move collectively. So we're doing the same. We're doing it together. And yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. You name it. We gotta make it fun here. And this is how we do it together. It wouldn't be fun to every one of us sits at their homes, meditates. Like, life is meditation. Like, if you feel to move. Be here in this physical world, feel yourself, become really one with your physical body. This is with your body. Like, this is what I believe, like, humans, this would skyrocket our evolution if all of us, we would focus on our internal reality and got to eczema, our chakras, our body parts, even every single body part on its own, getting access to the bone structure. This is all what I'm discovering, like through feeling myself and my entire being. I'm replacing myself. I feel how I rebuild my entire body and how I already did in the last years. So we're powerful beings, I say it again. And, we gotta use it and we gotta create. And I know we're doing it together, so just blessed to be here.
And thank you for being here. I'm grateful to share the space and be on this journey together.
Yes, sir.
And with that being said, I'm also grateful for all of you out there that tap in and participate and be a part of this journey with us, either on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. And to all of you out there in the collective and beyond, thank you. Thank you for being another mirror and another reflection and embodiment of all that we are. That'll do it for episode 3 of the Friday Expedition, Inner Child and Chakras with the Inner Child. Thank you guys. And we will be back, well, next Friday. I'll be doing some hurricane relief effort in North Carolina, trying to help bring some warmth and clean water through Shungite for some folks there. So
sounds like an expedition.
Yeah, that'll definitely be an expedition next Friday, that's for sure. So I guess we'll have a week break. So
I think everyone is doing an expedition as well. Like, just like, what are you just going to explore for yourself next Friday? Instead, and then the other Friday you come back. So do we. We just like see what we can all do for us. It's so much to explore. So amazing, good that you're doing the work, man, and being in service. Follow the call and do what you gotta do, bro.
Absolutely, man. There's there's many families right now in that area that literally just had their whole entire life that they built washed away completely. Not a trace of it. everything, including towns. So for me, it's the least I could do, honestly, like to go down there and participate any way that I can. I mean, I could just, as a being a humble human being and knowing that took place in a area that is a pretty average American place that just does not get hurricanes or anything like that, it gives me perspective. Like, you know what, man? I never know. I could be one of those families one day. You never really know. It's not like those families sat there working their jobs, doing their family activities, living their life. It's not like they just knew all of a sudden, boom, my whole entire life that I've been creating and that I identify with is now washed away, including all my valuables and the things that give me shelter and provide for me. So I can't help but participate in any type of way I can.
You know, and I know that those people are being helped, and it's, you know, everyone is being helped and everyone is looked after, and you know, those are examples for it. Like, you know, you go there and you help, and you know, this is God actually helping. So we're learning here to help and support each other, you know, and through those events, like, sad that we have to experience them. I must say it's sad to must experience them. And, you know, for everyone who has empathy, like, we can feel the sadness and the grief, you know, and yeah, to allow us to see solutions and be part of the solution.
Yeah.
Don't be a part of the problem. Please don't. Like, be part of the solution. I just like, and you mentioned earlier, there is a right and there is a wrong. I believe so too. There is, and we all know about it. So, you know, it's no secret. It's very obvious. So we gotta help and be of service. Through really developing ourselves and our health, you know, and having fun along the way. So important.
Yeah. That's right. So yeah, that actually reminds me, and that brings me to this right here, actually. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. For anybody out there that sees this and would like to participate in being a part of helping my trip to Carolina coming up on Thursday next week, I created a GoFundMe account. So you guys can donate to this GoFundMe account. And then with the donations, I am going to be using it towards hold on. I'm going to be using it towards getting heaters as well as shungite for shungite water. And then with shungite water, that is going to be a self-sustainable water resource for the places that it's set up at. So what that means is that the shungite water is self-sustainable. It lasts years at a time, and you can use the same shungite for years at a time. You use a certain amount of shungite depending upon the size container that you're using for the water. And you allow the water to filter for 2 days. Then after the 2 days, you then have purified and clean water. That includes all heavy metals, toxins, chlorine, and fluoride. So what I'm going to do is I want to gather as much shungite as I can through donations, bring that shungite down to Carolina, set up some self-sustainable water resource containers in different facilities and shelters and other areas, so then they don't have to worry about buying plastic bottles, finding bottles, and all that other stuff that's going to happen with the plastic buildup. So that's what I've got going on. If you want to be a part of that and participate, I have a GoFundMe, and I'll put it down in the description below. You guys can send donations if you would like. Appreciate any and all support. And with that being said, you guys have a blessed night and enjoy your guys' journey this weekend.
Blessed night to you all. You know, almost 2 hours. Good deal, man. Good deal.
That's right.
Awesome. See you next time.